Timeshifters hope that you enjoyed this rare and infamous moment that combines a first-rate disaster with genuine historical significance. But now it's time to take a deep breath as we prepare to temporally reset you. Are you ready?
Hey there, everyone. This is Christopher, and I'd like to welcome you to the Time Shifters podcast. On this show, Tom and I share our thoughts and reviews on movies and TV, mostly in the sci-fi, fantasy, and horror genres. Tom, how the heck have you been?
It's been busy. I didn't even get to talk about it before the start of the show, but I successfully hosted a dog for a week.
Oh, that's right. I forgot all about that. You had mentioned that you were doing that. I think it was off mic, but you were talking to me about that last week.
Literally the last time recorded, that was the day that we got her to begin with, and then we put in the rest of the week, and apparently I have been declared the dog's dad.
Excellent. So it must have gone well.
Yes, no, she was a total sweetheart, and it went really well, and the family that is officially adopting, which are close personal friends anyway, they're like, we very much want you to continue to be in her life, so you can come grab her anytime you like to take her for walks, and they're probably going to leave her with me whenever they can't be here anyway.
So you'll be your uncle.
Yes.
That's sweet.
Yes, no, but since I see her on the regular anyways, it's just fun watching her come at me like, oh, it's Dad. So,
That's awesome. I'm glad you had a good experience.
Yes, no, she's like the perfect starter dog.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Well behaved, does all the pottying the correct way, just super sweet, and man, my biggest fear with any animal, particularly a dog, is what is sleeping gonna be like.
Mm-hmm.
She had two little legs to get into the bed, so she wasn't going to be a bed snuggler or anything like that. But from 8 p.m. till 8 a.m., gone. The only thing she would do is switch locations if she started on the couch and then noticed I went to bed. It was hysterical. But yeah, no. Wonderful experience.
Excellent. Good. Very, very happy to hear.
Yes.
I have not had anything fun like that happen in my life, unfortunately. We are often pet sitters ourselves, but we have not had to do so in a while. But it's always a fun experience.
I'm sure it will come back around soon enough.
Oh, it absolutely will. I've been watching a little this and that. Again, I've still been kind of going through some of my box sets of films and such. I watched, and I haven't watched this in forever. Did you ever watch Abraxas, Guardian of the Universe with Jesse Ventura?
The only way that I have seen that is through Riff Tracks.
They did riff tracks, that didn't they?
They did, and did an amazing job of doing it.
Yeah, I haven't seen that in a long. It's probably been even longer, or about the same time since I've seen even the riff tracks. Yeah, that's a film, isn't it?
That's one way to describe it. And I know you're going to say you actually liked it, okay? Or rather, you didn't hate it.
I didn't hate it, but it is woefully miscast. Jesse Ventura just cannot carry a film. They want him, and from what I've read, they wanted Schwarzenegger for the role, but he said, "No thanks, I'm going to go do Terminator 2."
Good call.
Yeah, very good call. So I'm happy that he did that because we got a great film out of it with Terminator 2. But I'm sorry in a way that he wasn't in this film because I think it would have been better had he been cast versus Ventura.
Perhaps, but it needed a big influx of money and better actors to play off of as well. No one did a good job.
Oh, and that's a good point, and that's something else that I remember thinking is, had it been Schwarzenegger, they'd have to get someone else besides Sven Ole Thorsten
Yeah.
as the villain, because you'd be spending the entire film going, I don't understand what either one of these guys are saying.
Right, but I mean, you'd have had to have way improved the fight sequences and the special effects and all that. Hey, think about it. The alternative for Schwarzenegger was to go to Terminator 2, which was the state of the art. In fact, it's funny you mention it. My son and I, during his spring break, while we were watching The Dog 2, went on a journey of classic sci-fi horror action films, which also included watching Terminator 1 and Terminator 2.
Nice. Very cool.
And rewatching Terminator 2, it still holds up pretty damn well.
Oh, that's a fun film. That's a great film.
It's a great film, but I mean, the effects don't look dated.
Yeah, that's impressive, considering that they are kind of like the first of their kind.
Right, but but the way that they chose to do the T-1000 as a liquid metal android, the fact that when he forms as just the silver, that transition where he looks kind of rough is okay, because then they do that little shimmer thing, and then all of a sudden his biologics come through, and I'm like, I still put that up against almost anything today, and it still looks really good.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's good to know. Yeah, I need to revisit those two films, because it's been a dog's age since I've seen either one.
Yeah, and I always remembered Linda Hamilton, I don't know, a little more harsh from T2, because I mean that was the way the character kind of developed, but I mean she actually was way better than I even remembered her in that.
Nice. Okay, here's a fun one that I watched.
Yes.
Uranus Attacks.
Only
from
if I
2024. I know. From 2024, this film is a lot of fun. Now, the entire film takes place in Uranus, Missouri.
Of course.
And involves the Uranus Fudge Factory.
Of course it does.
Yes. Which is a real place. You can go and buy and get your fudge packed in Uranus.
I have heard of that place too.
And the whole thing is, it's the generic, alien invasion sort of thing. But of course, it's slugs that assimilate you.
Assimilate you, yes. Very, very cute.
Yes. It's a lot of fun. When I started watching this thing and saw that it was like an hour and 40 minutes, I'm like, there is no way they could keep this joke going for nearly 2 hours. They do a pretty good job of it. It won't make you want to go to the Uranus Fudge Factory.
So not a successful advertisement?
Not for me. But it is actually kind of a fun and very silly film.
That's cool. And I happen to know a friend of mine has a copy of that we might need to make part of our Thursday night watch.
You guys could do a lot worse. Trust me. I think you'd have a good time with it.
Well, you get a kick out of the fact, though, that last week we did actually watch When Worlds Collide again.
Oh, there you go.
And it was actually commented, and like, that didn't really fit our Thursday night vibe. It was actually good. Yeah, its age didn't necessarily make it a bad film.
And another film that I watched, and I know that you went ahead and took in as well, was a film that I recently published a 5-minute review of, which is the 2026 film Infiltrate.
Correct, yes.
And I'm really curious to see what you thought of it.
I found it still a bit derivative. I mean, the basic storyline, we're gonna hold a loved one hostage while we go make you do horrible, despicable things on our behalf. It has been done before.
Oh, yes.
But that said, I don't know the budget for the thing, but whoever was choreographing the action sequences, kudos to them.
Yes.
And then additional kudos to practical effects for some of the actual violent damage that was inflicted upon people. I wasn't quite in the opening fight sequence that we get to see. I wasn't quite expecting to see so much exposed face after a crowbar hit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, I don't know what your guys' budget was, but whatever it was, you did it with, you were effective.
Oh, absolutely. No, that is something I mentioned in my review. Actually, both points you made, or all 3 points you made, I mentioned in my review. Yes, it's very familiar. I mean, this is, if you've seen a Mission Impossible or a James Bond film or something like that, you know, all those elements are kind of in this film. But along with that is also the amazing fights. Mm-hmm. These are the fights that you'd expect from John Wick or Mission Impossible or something like that. They are dirty, they are brutal,
yes,
and they are, I mean, raw at times.
Well, and to a degree, I would say pushes the envelope of believability too, because
yes,
since our lead is obviously a skilled fighter, but a fairly petite woman, there are a couple of circumstances where she's in the fight that you're like, the kind of blows that they're landing on you should snap you in half. So,
yeah, and that is something else. Please go back and listen to my my 5-minute review.
I'll have to.
But yes, it is. I said the same thing. Is like the amount of abuse that she takes. No human of any stripe would be able to take.
Very true.
But when you're watching a film like this, isn't that kind of what we want?
It is. Now, again, no spoilers. This is still a very new film, but I don't know how I'm sitting with their so-called twist and the way that it ended.
Mm-hmm.
I would have done. I could have still left the kind of twist that they did, but I'd have probably ended that differently.
Yeah, I had a feeling through most of the film that there was something else going on. It ended up not being exactly what I was thinking, but yeah, not everything is as it seems.
Yeah, no, like some of the construct I was calling BS on all the way through. But I get it with what they were laying out, and when we got to where we needed to. The twist was interesting, not necessarily unexpected, but the way they ended it, I know what they were going for. I'd have actually made it a little, not even more definitive. I would have made it a darker choice.
All right, interesting.
So,
I may be on board with you there.
That would have to be a sidebar conversation until this is
absolutely.
a couple more years old. Give a little room for some people to enjoy.
We'll come back and revisit this when we feel like we can do a spoiler-filled review.
Right, exactly. Let's let it time shift.
Absolutely. Infiltrate is available on digital now, so please go and seek that out if you're just looking for a really good, like, no-holds-barred, bloody-knuckle action film.
Yes.
Yeah, you could do a lot worse, man.
Oh, yeah,
I really liked it. Anyway, what have you been doing other than watching films that I try to get you to watch.
Well, aside from our tour, like I said, we did Terminator, we did Terminator 2, we did Aliens. We actually jumped forward / backward to Prometheus.
Okay.
Which, for some in the Aliens universe, I don't know how everybody feels. I actually really enjoy that one.
Really?
I kind of do. I like the engineers thing. I like the whole vibe. I like the fact that it's essentially the setup to the first Alien movie.
Right.
All of that aside, the highlight it would be a brand new film. We actually went to a theater and saw Project Hail Mary.
Yeah, nope, I haven't seen it yet. I really want to. I've heard so much about it now that I wish I haven't heard, but...
Right, but this is one of those times, and I've said it on the show before, I'm not going to spoil a thing, because everybody knows there's an alien in the film. But I love that this was a really intelligent approach to having an alien in your film. No snarling, no gnashing, no none of that. Not gonna eat you. Just well intentioned, and the fact that the alien himself is so thoroughly thought out to be different, to be a different form of life. It's not humanoid. But not being humanoid doesn't mean no intelligence. And the minor little thing I'll point out that I really loved is, despite the fact that the alien in the promos you see the ship and all that, and it's bigger than his, but the technologies that were used for their ship versus the Earth ship, different, but on a same level of technology, just different types. Like, that ship could do things that the Earth ship couldn't, and vice versa. So it ended up making this nice little vibe that when they come together and there's the decision to work together, they play off of each other's strengths. They actually play toward their own intelligence, and it's so refreshing to see something not about shooting at each other constantly.
Yeah, that's nice. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I've heard so much about it, and it was based on a book by Andy Weir. Is that the right name? Yeah, same guy that wrote The Martian. And
yeah, the man's on a roll.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. No, it is definitely on the list. I think once it comes to streaming, at some point we will definitely catch that.
No, I highly recommend it, and I can't wait to hear how you feel about the way they ended it.
Yeah. All right. Cool. No, maybe when I finally get a chance to watch it, we'll actually make it an episode out of that one, because that would be a fun one.
Yeah, it very much so. And quite frankly, I look forward to watching it again.
Cool. That's a good sign right there.
Yeah,
that's a sign of
like if I didn't
any
have to
good
go
film.
pay for it, I would go watch it again.
Well, I tell you what, we're already 20 minutes in. Let's go ahead and take a break here, and we'll play a promo for another podcast. And when we get back, we are going to jump back to Canada in 1982 and watch 984, Prisoner of the Future.
C-3PO,
Loki,
Mace Windu,
Dr. Bruce Banner,
Captain Rex,
Venom,
Princess Leia,
Jean Grey,
Darth Maul,
Nick Fury,
Grand Moff Tarkin,
Captain America,
Lando Calrissian,
Cyclops.
What do all these characters have in common?
Well, two of them were played by Samuel L. Jackson.
A couple of them were played by Hammer Films veterans Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee.
Come on, guys, you know this.
Well, of course we do, Jessica. Just like Mickey Mouse and Captain Jack Sparrow, they're all now Disney characters. Hello, I'm Tracy of the Disney Indiana podcast, And my co-host Scott and I enjoy talking about all aspects of the House of Mouse, and that includes their newest properties, Marvel and LucasArts.
We also talk about Disney resorts, the cruise line, theme parks, and whatever else Mickey has to offer.
Which includes movies, Imagineering, video games, and collectibles. You'll never know what we'll decide to talk about.
So check us out at www.disneyindiana.com or do a search for the Disney Indiana Podcast on iTunes, because now we've got a lot more to talk about.
And don't forget about those other quote-unquote Disney characters like, well, Sully,
Fozzie Bear,
Buzz Lightyear,
Link Hogthrob,
Doug,
Janice,
Merida,
Pepe,
Bruce,
Ralph the Dog,
Wally,
Dr.
The Disney
Bunsen
Indiana
Honeydew.
podcast. Even after 5 years, we're still miles away from the nearest Main Street, USA. We're not listed on the map, but you can join us at www.disneyindiana.com.
All right, this film was a made-for-TV movie. I've actually read that it was sort of a potential series
Interesting.
pilot,
Okay.
which I find very interesting considering how this film progresses and ends, but sure.
Yeah.
It was directed by Tibor Takix, who is maybe most well known for directing The Gate and its sequel, The Gate 2, The Trespassers. We reviewed The Gate back during one of our 31 Nights of Halloween years ago.
Oh, okay.
That was one of the kids and the big hole in the backyard.
Yes.
And everything starts coming through. And we actually both, I remember us really liking that. That was a surprise film for us.
Yes.
The film stars Stephen Markle and Don Franks. In the film, Tom Weston is a corporate executive, happily married and successful in business. Around him, a new political party, The Movement, led by an enigmatic Dr. Fontaine, has slowly gained power, and Dr. Fontaine has been elected to the presidency. Shortly thereafter, Weston is arrested and, along with a small group of other men, detained. And during his detention, he learns that he is now a prisoner of the movement. What he at first takes as a joke, he finds the warden is very serious. Weston, now prisoner 984, is routinely interrogated and beaten for information that he doesn't have. This is one of those films that I found on that 50 sci-fi something series box sets, and I really think that this was the gem out of all those films. I found this film really interesting, and it might have to do with the fact that I'm also a big fan of the ITV series The Prisoner.
Yeah.
From the UK. But yeah, I started watching this film again off this set and kind of reminded myself that, oh yeah, I have seen this before. I remember really liking it. And as I was watching it, I'm thinking, this one might make a good episode. So let's share it with Tom and see what he thinks about this thing. And so I am asking Tom, what did you think about 984 Prisoner of the Future?
I found after watching it that I was a little confused.
Oh, okay.
I found myself trying to look for stuff. I understand that I know what it was trying, and unfortunately it feels too current.
Yes.
One can draw some significant parallels between the movement and another thing that starts with an M these days.
Possibly.
Possibly.
We'll get back to that.
Yes.
We'll get back to that.
And I was fascinated with where it ultimately went. What it was is while I'm watching it, we keep flashing to his life and to his life in the prison. And it is clear that they want something from him he cannot produce, despite the fact that he's associated with the things that they think they're going to get from him. But it's unclear, even if they got any information, what that would mean to them. They've already achieved their goal. They're in charge. Maybe they don't want these particular folks out in the world creating more problems for each other. But this search for information rings kind of hollow.
Okay.
Whatever he could possibly say, what would that do to change anything for their movement? per se. So it's an exercise in futility, but I think that's actually part of the point. It is the fact that this prison is a thing that has no purpose, and where it becomes truly fascinating is that by the time you get to the end and you find out that there's really nothing left outside of the prison, this means nothing to no one. The whole exercise is futility, not just for the prisoners, but for the warden and his henchmen that are running this thing. So I was fascinated by that, but I'm like, this is a much to do about nothing.
The warden's actions in trying to get information from Weston, it was more about him just breaking the man.
Right.
It reminded me of the TNG episode, the Next Generation episode, where Picard is held by the Cardassians.
Oh yeah, no. In fact,
there's one scene in this film that has there's lights in the background, and I kept waiting for the warden to ask Weston how many lights he saw.
Right. I was kind of waiting for that myself, but I would have found it even more interesting if it had been 4 lights. It seemed like it was only 3.
Yeah, there was only 3, but yes.
No, because then I'm like, wow, that'd be a deep cut for Star Trek if it had picked on that movie to get that material. That'd be funny.
But yes, and since you've kind of jumped to the end of the film and spoiled everything, there is that sense of not everybody is sane, but the person that is the most insane is not Weston after his abuse and his torture. He's not the one that has gone insane, at least not at first.
No, it's clearly the warden that has lost his mind.
The warden has cracked. I just found that really interesting as the film progresses, and you start getting hints that things are not exactly as you might think on the outside, and that eventually, you learn there is no outside and everything. I think the thing that I loved most about this film, and you were talking about how it kind of hits and it feels a little reminiscent of other things today and modern society. But what I loved about this film is we never find out what the movement is.
Right.
We really don't know, is it conservative? Is it liberal? Is it corporate? Is it capitalist? We never find out the two sides.
And that's just it. That's not the point of this film.
Absolutely not. But I love the way that they were able to weave the entire story and go through this whole film. And it doesn't really, you can make assumptions and you can take guesses. You're talking like, Weston's this big shot corner office exec. So capitalist, and this is anti-capitalism or something. You can make that assumption, but that doesn't make it necessarily true.
No, I think this is about more the psychology of any of this. It doesn't matter what your ideology is, because in the film, while we go over the counter group that doesn't like the faction that is against the movement doesn't have a name, doesn't necessarily have a political party, but they are meeting in secret because clearly this Dr. Fontaine guy has won at this stage, and they're trying to resist in how they are. And in this shadowy cabal meeting where Weston is at, what they're talking about doing, which is even enigmatic while they're discussing it, he's getting the impression that what they're going to do is a cure being worse than the disease kind of scenario, and he's not on board with that. And again, that has nothing to do with ideology. It doesn't matter which side of which fence you are, political, ideological, religious, whatever's the thrust of it. if you're prepared to cross a line that makes it worse, you're now not the good guy either. So we have what is set up is essentially two bad guys, two big groups of bad guys.
I think what it is a little bit of a trying to teach a lesson of how extremism from any side can get people caught in the gears in between.
Right.
Weston is a victim of both sides, effectively. He's a victim of the cabal because they've pulled him in and now have told him these things. Yeah, and yet, like you said, he's like, I mean, they're talking about using a small tactical nuke or something to assassinate Fontaine. And Weston's like, that seems like a really bad idea. You're liable to start something that start the very thing that you're trying to avoid.
Right.
The movement is taking Weston because he's associated with the cabal, because of what they were planning and everything. And yeah, he's caught in the middle. He's the victim by no matter which way you look at it.
Indeed. And that's the part that's all very fascinating about it. Where I get my confusion are a couple of key scenes. At one point, we actually see Dr. Fontaine talking to the warden, trying to urge him to get the information out of Weston. And even the warden in that moment is being reasonable. He's like, I don't think he knows anything. I don't think there's any information to be gotten, but that he's being hard on this. Which begs the question, since we know we land at basically there is nothing left outside of this prison, what was going on in that scene? Was this before the whatever happened? And even if it's before whatever happened, what happened kind of thing? Like I didn't get that part. But that's where my confusion started, because I kind of knew that's where we were going. Ultimately, we never left the building once we went into the building. I knew something was up, especially when we get to the scene about we're going to do this, and he's not on board with that. The other confusing thing is the warden's right-hand man, Jeffries.
Mm-hmm.
By the time we get to that final chase with Weston through the prison and all that, before he sees all that, Jeffries is kind of done with all of this.
Absolutely.
And the warden is even kind of like, well, go. Whatever. He's kind of like... And he says something about the outside, and I don't really remember what it is, but I'm like, do they not know that there is nothing outside of this prison at this state? Go where? To do what?
Well, your first point, when you see Fontaine speaking with the warden, yes, that is before the apparent
that's
apocalypse.
Somewhere in the middle of Weston's time in the prison.
I believe why Fontaine might think Weston has knowledge or information is just because Weston, in the end, has been extremely vocal about his, not even opposition, but his, Weston is very vocal about not taking the movement or Fontaine seriously. Right. And I think that alone just sticks in the craw of Fontaine, because apparently they also have a past. Fontaine was an instructor at the university that Weston went to. Yeah. So they have some sort of a connection in that. And so maybe it just annoys Fontaine that Weston isn't one of his blind followers.
Well, yeah, and I take it this is partly a statement on even the concept of torture. There are people Weston was friends with that are also in this prison. They mentioned this Roland guy, and then I don't remember the name of the other guy that he eventually, they broke him and he went by his number, 1080 or something like that. I think some of this is the frustration of they were able to break other people and they're not breaking Weston. And I guess that's where Fontaine could be thinking, well, he definitely knows something because he won't submit. He won't he won't give in to our will. So he must have something that I need out of him that he won't provide because I broke all of his friends. And that's the thing about the torture is maybe even the friends in their breaking said, sure, Weston knows something, but they said, sure, Weston knows something because they want to stop being hurt, not because he actually knows anything. And inadvertently, whether they intended to have that be part of the statement, I think that's still kind of part of the point is torture doesn't get you anything useful. Torture gets you a person hurt who will give you anything to stop being hurt. That's it. So, which is just reinforcing it with the idiots that are in charge. It's like, oh, I got this, so I must be on the right track. You are not. You're never getting to where you want. And in this particular case, there's literally nothing to be gotten. So your own delusion has trapped you.
So I think what happened is there's the apocalypse. I think that is probably what snaps the warden because now he has no purpose. I think it's just in his own mind. He's trying to find a purpose, and so his purpose is to continue to be the warden and do what he can to break the last prisoner that they have in their facility.
Yeah.
You went on to talk about something else later. Your second point that you were, and now I'm blanking on what it was. Your second point of confusion.
Oh, the Jeffries thing, the whole Jeffries is going to leave. But
right, yes. Yeah, no, that isn't clear. I think the only line, the warden tells them you won't survive. I mean, they know what's outside. And I think Jeffries is a willing participant for a while because he thinks he's really no different than anyone who was following Fontaine, except he's following the warden. And it takes him a while to finally realize and come to terms, oh, wait a minute, the warden is cracked.
And I'm gonna give it a little credit that I don't know if it's due. Maybe it is. Maybe there's stuff lost in edit somewhere or something. Not that we needed the point of the apocalypse, although given the obvious devastation outside of this prison, from the view from the window, it's a little unclear how the prison's still there and how literally everybody in the prison doesn't seem to know that this has happened.
Well, it's only Weston that doesn't know. The warden knows. Jeffries knows.
But that's just it. Then this is, like I said, where I'm trying to give it a little credit. I'm figuring all the air has been let out of Jeffries' sails post the cataclysm. That's part of why he's just not into this anymore. He softens immediately. He's a little more on Weston's side. He's trying to give him a little room to breathe. Not that there's anywhere to breathe to. There's no goal. But again, when he finally decides to, that's it, I'm not doing this anymore. Rightfully so, but what's the plan? If you know all of this, I could see a scenario where I'd rather walk out into the radioactive desert and die. Might be the preference to staying here with the warden in his delusion. But because the way this is done, and some of it's because it's low budget, some of it's because I don't know that these are the best actors Canada has to offer or anything like that, or the writing or the directing. It's just some of that needed to hit a little different for me to go, yes, I believe where all of this is going.
Okay, interesting. I actually thought all the acting was really good in this film. I didn't have a problem with any of the actors. I think their roles were fantastic. But some of the minor roles they're minor.
Yes.
And, maybe the actors aren't the greatest, or maybe they don't read their lines exactly the way you would hope they would. But as far as the people that actually have to carry this film, I think they're all spectacular.
And yes, let me be clear. Like Stephen Markle as Tom Weston and Don Franks as the warden, and even Stan Wilson as Jeffries. They were all doing their utmost, and it is there is a little letdown from some of the other players. But like I said, then maybe it's story or acting or some edits that were choices made. That's where some of that confusion lies, because I'm like, I needed to see a little more maybe out of Jeffries in the whole, or the interaction between Jeffries and the warden. This should be a really poignant moment that this man is going to walk out into nothingness instead of stay in this moment. That should have looked a lot more challenging than it did in the moment.
It's possible that it's because we're dealing with a very short runtime.
Yes.
This thing is only like an hour and 15 minutes or something like that. Okay. And so you can't spend a lot of time of seeing Jeffries looking doubtful.
Right.
Or questioning the warden. You have to give him a few lines, at the right time to get the point across. Right. Because this is about the relationship between Warden and Weston.
No, it absolutely is. But then that may be part of it, is they needed a little more time. They needed room to let some of this breathe, to let the drama in, so that those moments hit harder. And that's what I was looking for, and why I'm like, I'd have done that different.
Yeah, I'm really curious if it's true that they were trying to use this as some sort of kickoff to a series, how they would have changed it, made it so it's something that you could do like week to week or what have you. Obviously, you couldn't have it end the way it ends. It would be very much like, as I said before, The Prisoner, where you've got your hero who doesn't escape week to week, even if when he thinks he does.
Right.
At the last minute, oh nope, sorry, you're still in the village. So you'd have to do it. It would have to literally be a remake of The Prisoner, which is an interesting undertaking.
Right. No, this would require an entire rewrite, a lengthening, and I'm not saying you still couldn't. It'd be a very bleak way to send off your series, is to end it in the prison, building this relationship to go nowhere for both characters.
I wanted to ask you about I forget what they called them in the film, the Guardians or the Watchers, the I guess effectively the robots that patrolled the halls and would often be the ones inflicting the beatings on poor Mr. Weston. What did you think of them?
I think this is where, again, it's clearly didn't have a lot of a budget. These things didn't look great, but I thought they kind of effective, knowing that they were kind of cheesy, they were effective in how little they showed them. Like, even when it's beating them, it's in the background. You don't really see what's happening. You just see the arms moving up and down and obviously kind of torturing him. It's not clear how, but they've pulled back. They've given some distance, so you can't really make out what's going on. And then even when we show them, there's some where they show them tracking through the hallway and they're moving kind of without legs, and that was kind of cool. I thought that gave a real creepy element to them, but it was a little unclear what they were truly capable of, because he seemed to roam pretty freely, and then they'd see him and they'd never catch him. And I'm like, okay, you're starting to be less scary now, because apparently I can wipe you out with a crowbar and you don't move as fast as you look like you're moving. So they did some really effective stuff, and then they'd ruin it in a couple other spots.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, I thought they shot them very effectively.
Yes.
Because they are pretty much just static mannequins on wheels zipping along the halls. But they would often, as you said, only show them in kind of light and shadows. Yeah. You'd focus on their eyes, which were a real interesting, not quite red, sort of purple light, which I really liked. And with rather a kind of scary sort of shape to their face as well as their eyes. I mean, they were made to be feared as far as the visuals go in their face. But just, yeah, the weird cantilevered camera angle as they zip down the hall, or they just focus on the face with the glowing eyes, and then the sound of their arms whipping Weston and everything. For something that was probably cost all of $50 a piece sort of thing. Right. I thought they were really effective in telling the story and they did a great job in just giving them that just a little bit enough of that creep factor.
No, in fact, actually the face and the eyes, it was very reminiscent of the more recent version of Battlestar Galactica and their Cylon Centurion. That narrow, thinned face with the wide set eye. Even in that one, the single tracer went up and down, and these just had it set. It worked. It was cool. But yeah, like when he actually faces off with one and chops its arm off with a crowbar, I'm like, yeah, a little less scary now.
Well, yeah. I think they had to, at some point, have him fight one, and they did the best they could. But you're right, that is a little bit of a letdown.
I did, but I'll give him a little credit to the whole idea that they had Weston realize that their hands were the keys to the doors. So the fact that he had the wherewithal to pick up an arm and carry it with him so he could more easily traverse the prison, that was kind of neat. I like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, kudos to, again, not all good, not all bad, but effective use of cheap props. It was good.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, I guess that's a pretty good descriptor of the entire film. It's, as you said, the budget has to be really small. You're talking about 2 sets effectively for the majority of the film, and then just a bunch of hallways in some warehouse or something like that. But I think they managed to tell a really effective story, and a story that actually ages rather well, because as you mentioned, you can
draw parallels.
I don't think there's an era that goes by that someone couldn't draw a parallel to something going on in the world.
Right. No, absolutely. I think ultimately what I wanted them to have a little more room to breathe and maybe a little bit more money. And in this case, because this is a forgotten Canadian made-for-TV movie, our copies to watch, as I described to another friend of mine, they were a copy of a VHS tape that somebody fished out of a dumpster. Not the best of qualities.
This thing is available to watch for free on Tubi. Yes. Do not watch it there. The sound on that thing is some of the worst I've ever heard. It is so loud and muffled, and it's terrible. I thought they'd have a better copy than this. We shoved 4 movies onto a disc DVD that I had.
Yeah.
No, my DVD is far superior to what is on Tubi.
What's interesting is you shared with me what you had on your disc. There is somebody that has it posted on YouTube as well that it was similar in quality to what you shared.
Okay, good. I may, because YouTube didn't catch any copyright infringements or anything when I posted it to share with you.
Yes.
I may go ahead and make that public just to get it out there for a little bit more for people.
Yeah, because you wouldn't be the only one. Yeah, if your copy's better than Tubi, then go with it.
And it looks like, from what I've read, that most people consider that this possibly is public domain. And the fact that it was on a Mill Creek box set strongly suggests that as well.
Yeah.
So I think I may go ahead and just make that public. And if anyone's curious to watch this thing, get a few more eyes on it. Maybe people will stumble across it, whether they listen to this or not.
It's a fascinating attempt at this. I would love to see kind of a reimagining of it. There's a lot going on there that you could actually expand it out if you wanted to actually build the world, give us context, build out the movement. Maybe you could turn it in. It could be a series. It would be bleak, but and it should be bleak. It should remain that. The structure needs to be there. This needs to be about the feudal nature of how people tried to behave in this.
My only concern with that, my initial thought was like, oh, well, if you did like a mini series and you kind of went into the evolution of the movement and such until effectively what leads us to this point. But my only concern with that would be you would start putting more fingerprints on the sides, on who the movement is, who's the bad guy, who's the good guy. That's what I really liked about this, is that it doesn't. It's up to you to put your own assumptions on. It's not going to say, this is who we're talking about.
No. I think an effective writer could give you enough context, because what would have been nice is to figure out you don't have to give it a whole ideology or anything. It's give the movement a reason to do the prison thing, and then give, for lack of a better term, I call it a cabal. We're going with cabal, and give the cabal a reason to counter that. It doesn't necessarily have to be concrete or associated with any particular group. Just give them a reason to be against each other and to do this. Be vague. I could see variation, like I see smatterings of like alienation in the thought process for building this out. Not naming anything in particular, just constructing basically two thems and you're the us. Like Weston is the us in this. He's the everyman in this. He's the middle. And you just have to set those extremes. Don't make them about anything.
This particular story was written by Steven Zoller and Peter Chapman. They're not names that immediately spring to any recollections or anything else. They look like they are kind of minor characters in Hollywood. Just writing a couple small things. It even looks like Chapman may have gone into sound design or something like that. I don't know if they're still with us or not. If they might happen to stumble across this because someone's talking about this little-known film from 1982 and want to reach out and talk to us about it, we'd be thrilled.
100%. Yeah, no, there's a lot of good in this. Like I said, I was confused by some of the stuff, but I'm still compelled by the overall story.
Yeah, excellent. And that's a great word for it. I find this compelling.
Yes.
Because it's so little known, I have no social media, and I know you are unable to find any kind of reviews of the day, which doesn't surprise me, unless you're a subscriber to Canadian TV Guide or something like that.
Perhaps, but there's not even a wiki page for this.
Yeah. Just IMDb and a few other reviews here and there from people who have watched it long after 1982.
In fact, going straight into Wiki, it actually suggested you could write one. I'm afraid I don't have enough information to do that.
Yeah, it would be a pretty vague wiki page if I were to go at it. It wouldn't be much more than you can find on IMDb.
Although IMDb's synopsis of it is a little brief and kind of off.
Oh, I don't even remember what it said.
Oh, it reads, a corporate executive is taken prisoner by an underground organization known as the Movement and is turned over to a ruthless interrogator. You're not all wrong, other than it's not an underground organization. The Movement is quite literally...
Yeah, it's the government.
It's the government now. And the ruthless interrogator... I don't know that I call him ruthless. I call him purposeful, if anything, only deranged in the reasoning.
Well, I'm glad you found it interesting, and definitely, as you said, a compelling story, and done, I think, really well for the small budget, and it just blows me away how timeless it actually is. Other than the quality of the film work, it really could have been filmed at any point. 1982, 92, 2002, 2022. There's nothing in this film that dates it. Well, other than the some of the flashbacks look like they're definitely 1980s, and he is on his very futuristic Commodore PET. Yeah.
Well, and the collars on their shirts are insanely long.
Yeah, so I guess it's I don't know if it's supposed to be any time in the future or an alternate future, or maybe just an alternate now.
Yes, a reimagining of Earth in a different way.
Right, but yeah, the story itself holds up amazingly well, I think.
Actually, I give them props too. I don't know that they actually tell you where you're supposed to be. There's not a named country.
This isn't Canada. This isn't United States. It's not New York or San Francisco. With no idea where it's located.
No, in fact, all of their locations are insanely vague. It's just a city.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fairly well done for what it is. It's worth a watch.
Yeah, it was definitely a gem among a lot of crap, frankly, on this set. But it's the one thing that, in the end, I'm like, I'm glad I bought this set because this movie was on here.
Well, at least there was some redeeming quality. And for Chris to call things crap is quite the thing.
I'm pretty sure that's where Abraxas was too. So may have been the same disc. I don't recall. No, it wasn't the same disc. No.
That's funny.
All right. Well, we're going to have a little bit of fun next time. This is a film that I actually covered over on my other podcast, Orphan Entertainment, some time ago, but Tom has not watched this thing unriffed.
Nope.
We're going to take a look at The Brain That Wouldn't Die. That's right, folks. Jan and the Pan will be making an appearance on the Time Shifters podcast.
Woohoo! Not to mention, I picked it not only because I haven't watched it unriffed, but it is Mike's first appearance on MST3K.
Oh, excellent. Yes, that'll be fun. It's been a little while since I've watched it riffed, and I'm sure it hasn't... It's probably been since when we covered it on Orphan Entertainment, and that was at least 2 years ago. I want to say around Halloween is when we watched this.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I am very curious to get your take on this, especially on Rift. I think that'll be an interesting discussion.
Yeah, no, that'll be fun.
With that, thank you all for listening to this episode of the Time Shifters podcast. We would love to hear your thoughts on this episode, and when I make this film public, if you go and watch it, We'd love to hear your feedback, any questions, or if you just want to share something. Reach out via email or drop a comment on any of our social media posts. Just follow the link tree in the show notes or head to timeshifterspodcast.com.
If you've got a moment, please consider leaving a rating or review. It really helps more people discover the show, and who knows, they might become listeners too.
If you're feeling extra generous, you can toss a little support our way at ko-fi.com/TSPOE podcasts. Every bit of that goes towards web hosting and production costs. The show will always be free and never be behind any paywalls or movements or, torturous wardens or anything. But any help is truly appreciated.
And if you'd like to get your prison smock in 984, although I don't think we have one, but maybe we should. If you want to get something cool like that, check out our merch at TeePublic or Dashery. Links are in the show notes and on our site. You'll be helping us out and supporting some awesome independent artists at the same time.
That's going to do it for this episode. Thanks again, everyone. We will catch you next time. Bye.
See ya.